This is Moments of Truth, and we are going to do several questions and get feedback from the group that we'll then be able to present to our executives. So the Moments of Truth is a Toastmaster program that sort of gives us benchmarks on where we should be concentrating our efforts for success. And I'd like to show what we have to you, and I sent you an email. It doesn't matter if you don't have it. We'll just go with chatting together. But I'd like to share something I thought I could give you in the group. So what I've done is I've divided you, and Stephen, you're going to need this slide in a minute for who's going to go into breakout rooms. We have 6 moments of truth. We're going to divide into 3 groups. I have assigned a moderator for each group, and you will be in charge of sort of leading the discussion. You're ready to find out what team you're on, right? So here's what we're going to do. We have 3 groups: orange, forest, and mustard. This is sort of Thanksgiving fall colors. I hope you enjoy. Irma will be the orange moderator, and Catherine and Bob will go in the same breakout room with her. Stephen, you can start maybe assigning. The forest moderator will be Ruby, and we'll stay in the main room with Stephen and Lisa. Shelley, you will be the moderator for the mustard group, and Sheree and Tammy will be with you. And I think I need to add Helen, just came in. Whoops, go backwards. So that, oh, and I won't be able to edit now. Helen will go in the orange group, and I think that includes everybody. So Stephen, let me know when you have those groups ready. If you check your email, you have a Moments of Truth handout. If you don't have it, don't worry. The moderators can deliver the discussion. And we have 6 moments of truth. I'm going to leave this slide up for Stephen so he can develop the breakout rooms. But we're going to talk about first impressions. Don't take notes. I'll give you this in a minute. Membership orientation, fellowship, variety, and communication. Program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. I don't expect you to remember that, don't worry. But with 3 groups, each group will look after 2 points. You'll go into your breakout room and you will look at what are we doing for first impressions? What are we really strong at? What do we rock at Fluor? And what are some things we could climb higher? So when we come back to the main room, all of the groups, you're going to have 10 minutes in your breakout room. So you have 2 points to discuss. What are all the things we do really well? What are the things that we need to improve on? Your eyes as a new member, as an experienced member, as a person who's been to other clubs are very valuable in this experience. We want to make Fluor your club with your goals being able to be achieved. What are we not giving you? What would you like to have more of? What is just so amazing you don't want to go anywhere else? Personally, Fluor is a tremendous club. I think we do a lot of things really well, but I would never stay with status quo when we could actually maybe add something that would make us even stronger or answer the needs of our members even better. Stephen, have you organized breakout rooms?
Yes, I created the 2 rooms. One is orange,
right,
and the other one is mustard. I have orange, Emma, Catherine, Bob,
and Helen. If you could add Helen. Oh, and now we have Masood, so I'll add him too. So if you could add Helen to orange.
And Marcy.
Oh, and now we have Marcy.
Yeah.
And Marcy will be mustard. See, this is what happens when people are late. We're just going to make it work. So when somebody comes in new, we'll throw them into a room, and you may end up with somebody extra in your room.
Awesome.
So, and then Forrest.
I'm here.
Yeah, Masood will go in Forest. He'll stay here.
Okay.
And Marcy will go in mustard.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so here's, if you are the moderator, just take a note here. Orange. So Irma, your group is going to look at first impressions and program planning. Ruby, your group is going to look at member orientation. What happens when we have a new member come into the group? And what do we think about membership strength? Toastmasters tells us charter strength is 20 members. What are we going to do to make that happen? What do we have to do? We're pretty strong in that category, but how do we make sure we keep that going? I always say when you stop recruiting, you start dying. We could be 40 members, but if we stop looking for new members, that's the beginning of our demise. And then Shelley, you're going to coordinate fellowship and variety, how we communicate with our members, and how do we recognize achievement? So as far as the 3 moderators, are you good with your topics? So here's the questions. So if you are orange, take a look. These 2 questions, it doesn't matter. It's just the starter. What do guests first experience and observe when visiting the club? And judge whether or not your club meetings are carefully planned. So Irma, you're going to lead discussion. What do we do really well with those things? And those are just starters. I was trying to put that in the chat box, but don't worry if you don't have it. Just think about things that are first impressions. And if you look in your mailbox, your email, you'll see a worksheet that looks like this with all the points on it. But if you don't have it, I think sometimes it's just good to go from a blank page and what are we expecting? Ruby's group is going to talk about the degree that the club acquaints new members. How do we bring them on board? How are we mentoring them? What information do we give them to get them onto pathways? And discuss the club's numbers. Is it, do we have enough members for future leadership and meeting roles within our agendas? And Shelley, you're going to verify if the club offers a warm and friendly environment. What are the things we do outside of the club? What other things can we do before or after a Zoom meeting? And how do we recognize our members? And I think there's lots of different ways we do, but maybe there's some ideas you have for more than that. So those are kind of the things we're going to talk about. And when you come back, so Irma, when you return, this is your challenge because I can see you taking notes. You can use a Word document in your breakout room if you want, or you can just chat and write some, scribble some notes if you're the coordinator. You're going to report back. What did your group think? What's the one thing we rock at for first impressions? And what's the one thing we can climb? How do we get higher in what we're doing as far as first impressions? And I have a slide for each of the 6 moments of truth. And we'll take those to the executive. So when you come back, I or somebody else could scribble on my board, and we should have one thing we do really, really well and one thing we work on. We could make this list 10 and 10, but we'll never achieve that. We'll never concentrate and focus. So your job today in your room is to say, you know what, we're great at this. Let's add this other thing to make us even better. Any questions? So I will, Tammy, yes, please.
Are we just looking for 1 or 2 points then that we can focus on for each one of these sessions?
So I think, Stephen, we can send a broadcast message, can we, to the breakout rooms? You know? Can we communicate with the breakout room?
I needed to go to in between, so.
You have to go, so you can send me.
Yeah.
You can send me because I'm just going to float. So that works great. So my suggestion is maybe coordinators, moderators, make somebody a timer. You're going to talk about first impressions for 5 minutes. You could talk about it for half an hour, I'm sure. So after 5 minutes as a group, you're going to decide one thing to report back for each of the 2 categories. We rock and we can climb. And if there's more to it after that, we'll do it after the meeting, and I'm willing to listen and culminate everything. But we could do this meeting for 90 minutes if we don't cut it off somewhere. So, Shelley?
Do you want this? Do you want our responses entered into this PowerPoint or on a document, or you just want a verbal report?
You can verbal. I think you might want to scribble a couple notes if you're coordinating your group.
I'll definitely scribble the notes, but do you want it on a Word doc? Do you want it in a PowerPoint?
Shelley, great question. I thought about it, but I want it to come back to the group. So when you report it to the group, I'm going to type and you're going to tell me I got it right or wrong, or I've interpreted it correctly or incorrectly. So that way we're all looking at it. Because I think, and I thought this through, if I asked you to fill it out, we're not going to discuss it in the big group the same way. So any other questions? So try to stay focused. I think it's really easy to go off track. So the moderator, you've been chosen for your abilities because you're so wonderful, and you were the first 3 in the room. Thank you for
Do you
showing
mean
me.
bossy, Christina? Do you mean bossy? 'Cause, you know, just
Leadership qualities I recognize that are very valuable to this experience. So, and please have everybody speak.
I just muted some of the members when you spoke, so just avoid those echoes and background noise, including Marcia. So your voice didn't come up when you speak.
Oh. What did you want to say, Marcy? Can she unmute herself?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah.
I
Okay.
was going to say, in this case, I'm very happy that I showed up late.
Yeah. So we should have the same number. So if there's no other questions, it's 1:15 right now. I think we'll go till 25 after and then come back. If you're a moderator, it is up to you to delegate somebody else to report if you'd like. You can keep notes. You can make somebody else a secretary. There's only 2 or 3 in the room with you. So divvy up the job so everybody's involved. My biggest ask is that everybody contributes. So if you come up with 7 ideas that we're really good at, what's the one you want to tell Fluor executive they're doing brilliantly at? And if there's lots of ideas on what we can fix, then what's the one thing we could focus? So at the end of this exercise, we should have 6 things that will give the executive to say, hey, this is awesome, don't change it. And 6 things that here's some ideas for us to do even better. So it's a bit of a challenge because I think we have a wonderful club, but it doesn't mean that we don't try for more. So if there's no further questions, one other thing I'm going to ask, please put your video on for the discussion. So get to know the people in your room. And when we come back, all videos on so that we're actually getting to know our ideas. Mr. Breakout Room Sender, zoom them away. Or WebEx them off. And
I will.
I
The
will.
only question I have right now is, since this is recorded, and I don't know, it will record
gonna
the
get
end of the
recorded?
sessions.
A little experiment for our tech team. Leave it
Okay,
go.
yes,
We'll
yes.
see which one they
Okay.
pick up. That'd be interesting.
I
So
will
Irma,
start.
Catherine, Bob, and Helen to Orange. And Shelley, Sheree, Tammy, and Marcy to Mustard. And we'll stay here. And maybe I can chat to you, Stephen, so I don't interrupt Ruby's group. And you can send me in and out of the other breakout rooms a little bit.
Okay.
Super.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the discussion.
Okay. Magically will be on. Magic wand.
Okay.
Let's see
Stephen,
what happens.
take off the slide, please. Welcome everyone. For our group, we have been assigned membership orientation as well membership strength, the 2 points. So first I would like to go around and check, have a temperature check. Why am I getting an
Oh, is Christina off the audio? It will be much better now.
Okay, it's better. Christina, it was you. So first we'll talk about membership orientation. Let's just go around and talk about how do we feel together as a group, welcoming a new member and getting them started on the Fluor club principles as well as the Pathways Education Project. What do you feel that we do well? I'll start with who wants to volunteer, if anybody? Lisa?
Well, I was just going to say, there's a lot of assumptions here because this generally falls to the VP of membership to do the initial familiarization. So without Isabella saying, this is what I do, we're kind of assuming it gets done. So in terms of the general members, I don't know that they really know how they can contribute to this. And so maybe one of the things we can think about is how to involve more people in this process, so it's not just Isabella, especially because from what I understand, she's moved to BC. She's on a field site or something, so she's not even local right now. So she could probably have like a subcommittee or something to help out with this. Because I think it's really important, right, that people, this may be one piece that we've missed a little bit in the past, just it's a balance between overwhelming new members, right, and educating them. So I think Shelley once said that she had no idea that her progress through Pathways did anything for the club. She just thought she was on her own personal journey. And that was it. And then when we started talking about Distinguished Club program and that the club can earn points and, you know, how well we did last year, she's like, oh, I had no idea. So I think we can do better, but maybe we need to figure out what they need right away and you know, figure out how to drip the information to them without overwhelming them. Because I know when I was a new member, I didn't see the bigger picture. I didn't understand either. And it was a process. It was a long time in getting the full picture.
Masood?
Before Masood is speaking, I just text you, Christina, I made you that the co-chair, so you can co-host, you can go in and out each room.
I'm pretty sure it was a compliment. We didn't hear Christina, but it was a compliment. Well, I think one thing I would like to see, in terms of membership, I see that the welcome email comes through. Unfortunately, we are not in person that we can, each one of us can welcome the new members when we come into digital world and into the Zoom or WebEx in our meetings. We do not have that much of a luxury of being in person or being more personable with the new members, and each one of us can welcome them. So majority of people, I see that they have their cameras off and they're quiet. And then when the meeting starts, we have limited our time. That social aspect has been taken up from us, and we are in formal meeting time frame. That's what I think we are at right now. Which I hope that this COVID resolves and we can get back to that. As Bob said yesterday, I really miss the social aspect of our meeting. Now, with the documentation, I think I see that the documentation goes, the handbook that we have, all the PDFs that are going to the new members. And but I bet, including myself, that we do not know what those documents are. So another thing that I would like to see is, of course, it's up to us. I don't think that nobody can make us read the documents and the handbooks. One thing, when I sent the guidelines to everybody, I suggested that either create a digital folder or a physical folder and have all of these documents handy that you can review to all of the members, and we can have ourselves updated. Now that I'm telling this, that's actually a reminder to myself that I go back and do those kind of things for myself, because I cannot be a preacher without doing it myself. So the documents being reviewed, I think one of the things that we need to know, and everybody is, one thing that Lisa, you just said about Shelley's not knowing what's going on with the effect of our progress to the club and how we can support each other. That's actually one of the facts, that the documents have not been reviewed. And Toastmasters, either international or Easy Speak or our own club, we have a whole bunch of documents. I agree that in cases they're overwhelming, but I think reviewing the documentation will help us a lot to streamline ourselves into the proper path.
do you think not maybe instead of, but in addition to, not to make this a make work project, but I wonder if a short video explaining it, because some people just don't have the time to read a really long email. But they might watch a 2 or 3 minute video of someone explaining it. I wonder if it's worthwhile seeing if there's a project in Pathways that someone could create a series of videos walking new members through it and saying, if you need to review this, here's the document.
That would be fantastic, actually. That's a great idea. And I don't know who's in charge of YouTube. We can have actually a playlist or a category of the videos that says educational just for our club, and explains all of these documents that we have, even if we just read it and people can just listen to it. Yeah, that's fantastic.
What are your thoughts on, and again, it's creating another system. I don't know that we need to go this way, but if you've ever signed up for someone's newsletter or for a new program, they have a system already in place, right? And they just, when you get added, you get that initial welcome email. And then someone has already taken the time and scripted, like it's like a campaign, right? They've scripted, okay, the first time this is the welcome email. And then 1 week later, then they'll get this information. And then 2 weeks later, they'll get this. And then a month later, they'll get this. And so I wonder if it's worth investigating whether or not we should have this system. So we put a new member in, like we just add their email, and then they automatically start getting these timed emails, so that if we've already decided, okay, if they've been a member for 2 months already, these are the things that they should know. And we know that they've received these things without having somebody to do it. It's all automated. I wonder if that's worthwhile checking out. Or if that kind of removes the personal interaction too much.
No, I think you see, when you dump a whole bunch of information to somebody, the chances are likely they won't read it because it's too much information. They don't have time. And honestly, for all of us, when the work comes first, then it's Toastmasters. It's the second priority for everybody, or even more. You see that's actually that dripping of the information. I think that's very effective. However, as you said, it's a project. Creating that system, and who owns it? Is it club? Is it the district? Is it the Easy Speak? Is it the Toastmasters International? I think that should be something that collaboratively being discussed between all of these. That maybe Toastmaster International has something in place that they have this kind of this project going on, and we don't know about it until they announce it. So
yeah, I don't think so. I think it'd be a club thing.
So I just want to circle back to your own membership experience, and I understand the program and the Toastmasters experience itself is self-paced. Like each person gets what they put into it or what they want to achieve out of it. So I just want to circle back. I hear the overwhelming information for some, versus some need to know everything and need to progress. So finding that balance, what do you think would be a standard for welcoming? There are some things that need to be done. And when I reviewed in the past year, such as setup of Easy Speak, introducing and connecting with the mentor, and introducing to Basecamp, I think these, in my opinion, were kind of necessary to empower our members. So what is, drawing from your own experience, some of the things that we're already doing great and we can do even better for these kind of like mandatory or must have to empower our members?
I'm pretty sure that we do send out an orientation package. So we have like a welcome letter, we get them set up. I know that Masood sets people up on Easy Speak. I don't know that he does like a personal tour. It is kind of like, here you go, play with it, check it out, sign up for some roles. Yeah, so we certainly don't just leave them high and dry. I think that we do connect with people. We do have a package. I know that the package is reviewed each time. Okay, you didn't, Christina, there's not enough time. We haven't even started topic 2 yet. Like 10 minutes was too ambitious.
So, no, listen, we have time. Is it a good idea to maybe continue where we're at and give people more time in the breakout rooms?
I may
I
not
have 5
suggest.
minutes to the point.
I think
but-
so.
So let's go
The other
back.
thing is I have to leave at maximum 1:15. Maximum.
Oh, no, we're done at 1. We're done at 1.
Okay.
So, okay, they're all back. Stephen, I might ask you to go again. Let's just see where we're at. Hi, Irma. You can unmute for a second. We have a suggestion. Maybe we continue the group discussions longer. Would your group
Yes.
benefit from more time? So let's
2
go.
minutes would have been better, yes.
How many?
About another 5 to 7 minutes. I think in total 15 to 20 minutes would have been.
Okay, I thought it was ambitious to do it in 10. Let's go, Stephen, if you're okay, go back to your room for 10 more minutes. So if you need to revisit your first one, Lisa's excited. So I love it. That means people are talking. That's really good. And we can summarize later. Thanks. We'll tell the other group. I'll go back into the other breakout session.
The thing is, you cannot shut me off.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, me too. I probably took the whole 10 minutes.
See you on the
I
other
love
side.
it. Thank you, Irma. Continue on then.
Okay.
Catherine,
So
you
what
can
was-
go back with Irma.
Yeah, the
What
only
was the
thing is,
question?
the only thing is with the sessions in progress, you have to go by yourself.
I will. Yeah. So let's say 12:40 then. We're all coming back in here. Okay.
Okay,
Go by
I'm
yourself.
sorry.
Fair enough.
I should have
guys,
known that.
click join and be gone.
All right. Come on, people, leave. Leave.
Me up, Stephen.
I was
You
taking
go
notes
by
here.
yourself.
Welcome email, guest packet, easy
Stephen.
speech setup, and mentor assign.
Okay.
I cannot force you, Emma. You have to go by yourself.
How do I do that?
Just join breakout rooms.
I
The
don't have that button. Guys, but I don't have that button.
Oh, we are not talking secret, so.
Yeah, but I need to go with my group. I don't have that button.
okay, I'm gonna put you on mute. Find it yourself. We are
Go in the
running
breakout
short here.
session. I found.
Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Bye.
So I think last year, Lisa was just saying, welcome email, easy speak setup, mentor assign, and guest packet. We did this really well. Our VP education and VP membership. So then next step, is this okay to our members feel confident to take on those roles, given the initial information?
I think yes.
I think so too.
We did good last year because we have quite a few members and we learned as we went forward. This year we haven't had so many members as we had last year so far. And so that we don't know this year how it's working. I believe the system that we put last year together, it was great. We just needed a little bit more continuous membership that we can build over it, and we learn from what we had before and what we can improve this year. So far, I don't see much of a challenge. However, the one thing that I noticed is the mentorship. Mentorship, it has come a little bit to a idle position, for just lack of a better word. We are a little bit idle on mentorship because people have other priorities and some of them don't want to get involved with the mentorship, and some of them probably don't feel that they need mentors. I don't know. So that part, I was hoping that I could update the list and we can a little bit rotate the roles and mentors versus mentees, but it hasn't happened, to be honest with you. And I haven't had a chance much. Part of it that on my shoulder that I didn't have a lot of time to really focus on it.
Okay, so I want to move on to number 2 topic is membership strength. So in the membership strength, the topics we had was, does the club have 20 or more members? We did last year and we have a drop this year. Our club programs varied and exciting. Members are retained and promotion of the club in the community or within its organization. Toastmasters sponsoring new members recognized, regular membership building programs. I think we can pick just 2 maybe and talk about it. What do you guys feel?
Sure.
Does the club have 20 or more members, and does the club have enough members to take on meeting roles? And another topic.
Okay, well, we actually currently have 21 members, so that part's good. But again, like think with any club, right? And just, you know, as Fluor employees, right? As your tasks ebb and flow, right? Sometimes there are weeks, right, that we don't have enough people that we're having to double up on things, but that's not usual. So we've kind of ridden that one out. I think that's okay. I think it's manageable. I think this is one that we do really well in, actually. I know that, again, like Matt and Tammy and there's been some other people too have done presentations to the graduate groups, to the management groups. I think that, you know, with the newsletter, but also with whatever's posted internally at Fluor, I think that there's enough talk about Toastmasters. I would think that most people know about it. I think it's definitely received really positive comments from the management reps, and so I know that that's something that they do like. That is an offering for their employees. So I think that goes well. I don't know that we have posters around local libraries or that kind of thing, or community places. But just word of mouth, I don't know that we need it.
So this topic is super strength for us, has been in the last year and continues. Membership are retained because I guess they recognize the value of being our seasoned members and the support. Regular membership building programs. So what I hear from Lisa's comment is, with the 21, we are fully functional, and as such, we don't need to fill people just to fill the roster, but the opportunity to retain is always there with offering better quality programs such as what Matt and Tammy and bringing in educational, like Lisa did, bringing a guest speaker for tall tales and innovative programs. Club programs are varied and exciting. Is there any aspect that we could improve on, or are we good on all 6 aspects? We have members are retained, promotion is done, our Facebook is pretty active, newsletter is being published, sponsoring new members recognized. Well, we are not building actively, so I think that part is not there. What else can we do with the membership that we have to provide leadership and guidance on filling meeting and committee assignments?
Well, obviously, education is the first thing. And the other thing is motivation. And creating that motivation, it has a couple of aspects. I personally believe you cannot motivate a person unless they have that fire within them. If they don't, doesn't matter what kind of fire you create outside, it doesn't get in. That's me. Now, in terms of incentives, I maybe Fluor, because it's a sponsored club, this club, and maybe I see that Toastmasters International, they have, if you're achieving a level, they send letters to your employer. I don't know, maybe talking to Tammy and Matt, being in the management category of the Fluor Fluor company, maybe they can recognize these letters somehow, that incentive being created internally in the club and in the company, that makes it more incentive for the employees to attend the meetings and the club. That's something that comes. Of course, I have to admit, Fluor company is one of the best companies I've seen supporting their Toastmasters club. I have never seen such a thing. I have been in few clubs before, and I haven't seen such a support from management. That's one of the most, that impressed me. That's one of the reasons that I joined the club, because of the management rep in each meeting. So a little bit of more incentive maybe helped, but I believe as Toastmasters policy that they say pay on your own pace, that's what it is. It's internal.
Mm-hmm. Stephen, any comments on membership strength or membership orientation?
Not really much to add. I think we have, as everybody mentioned already, we have very strong club, and I see that actually the individual members we are kind of bonded together. So this is a good thing. I really have just back to the previous question, maybe not be, for this specific question specifically. The one thing is Masuda talking about that the mentorship program seems to be kind of strength, and also when new members join, and that welcome and that package. Actually, I did not see. Maybe I missed that thing. So I was not aware of those like step by step doing, especially Toastmaster International, those base camps. So Lisa mentioned that a good thing. It's a program, a couple of minutes of videos to break that into individual. And regarding who's doing that, it's another topic. But I think it's a very good tool to get new members engaged. Other than last year, I did one session in central public library in the basement. That a session kind of get it all together, and right now it's much easier and convenient and efficient to do that online. Break out the individual small sessions. That's all I have.
Thank you, Stephen.
So I guess our time is up.
Does anybody from our group want to represent our ideas?
Yeah, good.
Okay, because I will try to.
Beautiful delegating there, Ruby. Masood, boom.
That worked real well.
Thank you, Orange, for coming back. I don't know if we'll get those mustard team back or not. So here's our challenge, and I'll explain it right now. Your speaker is going to give us 1 point. I know we could talk about lots, but our challenge is to come up with one really strong and one that we want to work on more. So I think we're going to start and maybe, Stephen, we can't send a message, right? We have to go and get them.
Can send message. Stephen can send message. Yes.
To broadcast?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can. I sent it to everybody, but I don't think they're listening to me.
You are the host. Only the host has that power.
Yeah.
Should I magically just bring them back?
Let's do it. Yeah, because they'll keep going forever.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mid-sentence, they're going to be annoyed. But you know what? And I'll say this before they get here. I always think that when you stop the discussion or you stop the training or you stop the party when everybody's hungry, they show up again. If we talk until we have nothing left to talk about, we have no reason to return. So when we cut people off, although it may appear rude, it's actually by design so that the enthusiasm continues beyond the room. And I always feel as a facilitator or even as a teacher, when I hear the discussion still going on in the parking lot or at recess, then I've done a really good job to internalize that for the crowd that listened. So if they come back annoyed, then we've done our job. So Irma, your group was First Impressions. Who's your speaker? Bob? Did I lip read right? So Bob, what is the thing in First Impressions that we really rock at? What are we really
Sorry,
good
Bob.
at?
Thanks, Irma.
Oh, that was the table topics, was it? Always learning. Two people could do it.
I
What do
will
you
help
think?
you, Bob, if you forgot.
No, well, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So I'm sorry. First impressions, Christina?
Yeah, what's the one thing Fluor is very strong at with First Impressions?
You know, I think just the warm, welcoming environment. You know, we talked about that a lot, you know, and a couple of sort of fairly new members. So, you know, it's very top of mind right now. And, you know, when I joined, it was kind of beginning of February. So pre-COVID, a number of people came up to me right away and greeted me, made me feel welcome. And our other members in the group definitely had a very similar type impression as well. So
Super. And where can we climb? What can we do better? What should we be doing when people first come in?
I think that what we talked about again quite a bit was consistency. Now that we're in kind of the electronic, you know, WebEx type environment, the concern is that maybe people can get kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit at times. And perhaps we just don't have a consistent approach with how we're dealing with these people.
That makes sense, yeah.
Does
Yeah,
that
if I can add, the guests get lost during
Yes.
meetings, remember?
Yes. Yeah, when we were doing in-person meetings, we would often ask people to new people, we would ask if they wanted to participate in table topics. And I can't remember the last time we've done that in the WebEx environment. You know, and I mean, people always do, guests could always decline, of course. But if they were interested, and a lot of people were game, I know I did the very first meeting that I came to, and it was a very positive experience because, I mean, you kind of jump in feet first, right? And you get over the butterflies to a certain degree up front.
There are quite a few of the background noise today from Christina. So I just muted her when Bob was speaking. And we learned from some other techniques that you can mute yourself, keep yourself muted. And if you want to speak, you just press that space bar and you can speak. Then when you're done, release that. You are back to the muted session.
So Bob, one of the things I might suggest is we add that to the agenda. Tabletop at Master ask the guests, and then we would always remember as an example. Thank you. That is the orange group. Member orientation, that's the forest group. Ruby? Who's speaking for you? Your group. What do we do really well for member orientation?
Most definitely. I think I was nominated by Masood to talk on this topic. We really have a hit formula. So any member who comes in, last year our VP Education and Membership worked combinedly to come up with this 3 hit formula: welcome email, easy speak setup, mentor assign, and guest package, new member package. So this is a rarity that doesn't often happen in other clubs. I think we do this really well. One thing that came up about the membership orientation is with our VP membership now at site in BC, idea was, could the roles of a VP membership be balanced and spread out on between a subcommittee, so that whoever comes in is serviced and has the proper information. We're not relying just on Isabella to heavy lift all the new guests and membership, following up with the guests, as she may or may not be able to attend the training. So I think this was a executive action that could be put down. That's it, right? What we are doing well and what we can do better.
Sounds great. And I think that's good to recognize when our executive team changes their personal life, we can back each other up. Fellowship. Shelley, who's your speaker?
I'm sorry to say it's me. I'm the one who took the notes, so I'm just gonna. I've been given permission by my team to try and encapsulate that. So we do rock in participating roles outside of the club in terms of our, taking on management and leadership roles outside the club. We definitely rock in that, but we can definitely climb in a couple of areas. One would be interclub events. We don't publicize or invite other clubs to join us for things that we are doing, or create special events like contests where we invite other people. The other suggestion was we could really use a mentorship coordinator. So that would facilitate or encourage more of a warmer collaboration between people who are members of the club. And that's a great suggestion. We need to get stronger on that.
That's a great point. And we got to find a club who does it really well, because it always seems to be a point in the area director report. So that's a really good thing, not just for us, but for the district, to try to figure out how we can get that across. And we're trying really hard with mentoring this year as an example. So fabulous. Good, Shelley. I think we're back to Orange. Program planning. Is it another table topics, or do we have somebody, Irma?
Sorry, my dog tried to throw up. I quickly ran outside. I missed that. Sorry, Christina. Can you say that again? I'm so sorry.
Is there somebody in your group that's going to give us a program planning and meeting organization?
You know what? We spoke about membership orientation and the first impressions. That's what we did. So,
oh, who is this one then? Thought it was you. Oh, maybe nobody did it. Okay, nobody did this one. We will go to the next one. Membership strength.
I do have something that Helen suggested.
Go ahead.
So he suggested when we organize the meeting that we have, when members come on the online meeting, that they can see the new members that have been added. And then when they were added, and we also mentioned perhaps it's another idea for recognition, everyone who has finished their level, that then also show up like an agenda or a reward kind of sheet as everyone logs on, so they can see the names, new members, and the last month this is who did what.
It's two areas.
Maybe we didn't talk about the program planning, Irma, but we do discuss about to give a checklist to our mentor to help all the members to follow up the planning procedure. I think that's also another plan. Maybe we can use for this. Yeah.
Super. I'm going to add one here because I think our agendas are well prepared. And the other thing I say at our club is our members are well prepared for the roles, even if they take them at the last minute. I think we do a really good job. We don't have people saying, oh yeah, I'll slip and do it in the last minute. People take on the role and then jump in and prepare behind the scenes so that we look very professional. All right. Membership strength.
So this was our group, Forest group here. Membership strength, our club is doing really well. Last year we were at 23. This year we are already at 21. Yes, we are satisfying DCP goals, but we are a fully functional group where meetings, our roles are taken up by our members, actively engaged. We also have a recruit pool, right, with the support of Fluor, strong support from Fluor management and management reps who come. We have a newsletter circulating, and through direct visibility at management level, such as presentations by Matt, Amanda, and Tammy, we have created a visibility that the Fluor Club is for those who want to improve on confidence and public speaking, which also helps them professionally at Fluor. So the club is doing really well in this. One thing we discussed about is because we have fully strengths, there wasn't much except for the bonding that Bob talked about. The bonding between members is growing, and it's there's an opportunity there to keep the engagement ongoing and strengthen it more, and strengthen the mentorship orientation program that we have. So with our HIT success formula, the mentorship has stalled recently because of the priorities different members have in their life and family, but this could be brought back eventually to where it was, so that we have a fully functional, strong club that grows together. That's it.
Well, thank you, Ruby. Thanks, Bob. And our last one, achievement and recognition.
So we agreed that we were excelled at planning for DCP, and that was something that we got done in record time and something we can achieve at. But we do have a fair number of things we feel we can climb. For example, we could advertise our speakers more so that if someone is achieving a certain level in their pathway, we could make it known that, for example, someone like Marcy, who is well known among many other clubs, we could let it be known she's doing her speech, and we could get guests from other clubs to hear it, even publicize that amongst our own members. If I knew, for example, it might impact whether I come or not if I knew somebody was doing a milestone speech. Another point, we said that we don't really have a lot of ceremonies. And one of the reasons that speaks to the fact that our meetings are always time crunched. And this is just because of who we are, we have to be done a certain time frame. And we questioned whether we needed so many redundant roles such as watcher, grammarian, counter, chat master. And if we couldn't combine some of those into one role, we would stop having to eliminate table topics. That's the thing that always goes. It's like, oh, I guess we'll have one today, or I guess we'll have two. Well, the fact is that's an important part of Toastmasters, and eliminating that hurts us all. Although we understand the importance of everyone having a role, do we really need 4 redundant roles? And that's I don't know if we can afford that. We as a team discuss that.
I think that's a really good point, Shelley, because it's not just the 1-minute grammarian, it's the 30-second handover and the 30-second introduction. So we're doing a lot of talking that isn't moving us forward. Now I introduce a grammarian. Grammarian's done. Thank you very much. Now I introduce the word master. Now I introduce, and I agree, we could combine them, or we don't do every role every meeting. So sometimes we have a toast, sometimes we have a word of the day, sometimes we have a parliamentary, we can mix it up. And I think I like the watcher and the chat master. They were very helpful when we couldn't all multitask, but maybe we just leave it to each of us to do that on our own. I don't know. That's just a suggestion. So that's great. I am absolutely thrilled with what you have done today. I think, and I look at Fluor as the prize baby. We are a very strong club. And most of you have traveled now and come back to our club and seen how wonderful we are. But I think we're also wonderful because we do this. We look at each other and we say, well, what else could we do to make it better? Not just for people who first come in the door, but for each other. We are a strong, vibrant club, and it's because each of us is involved. So if I can leave you with one thing, I will summarize this and send it to Leah, and she can share it with the executive. But I think one of the things is, how are you going to make it better? What's the one thing you want to do now moving forward? And we probably have 30 seconds. So does anybody want to add what they personally want to do for our club? Sheree?
I just actually messaged Shelley. I think we can do better in mentorship. And if there is a need of volunteering, I can volunteer. There is a need of somebody talking to people who like to be mentee and talking to people who want to be mentor, and then see who matches who. Because if I just want to ask question once in a while, if you match a mentor who's willing to contribute 1 hour per week, you know, then that's kind of not a good match. And if somebody needs to practice 1 hour a week and there is a mentor available for that, you know, it's good to talk to them separately and then see, and then ask mentee first. There's these 2 mentors available. Have you talked to them? Are you like friend already with one of them? You know, there's a little bit of work needs to be done. For this, I am willing to initiate it if you think it's appropriate for me to do it. But I think this would improve our club. Not that we are not a good club. We are one of the most excellent clubs. But it would even improve us more to have a good mentorship going on and kind of matching people.
I think it's a constant battle. It seems to me, even from the day I joined Fluor, we always talked about mentoring. I think the unfortunate thing is it falls under VP Ed, who already does 90% of the executive work, right, Masood? Marcy? And so we need to have subcommittees. So when people come forward and say, hey, I'll oversee that. I think in the past, Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, we said, well, the past president would deal with it, and then they get busy doing something else. So it's a transient thing all the time. But I do agree mentorship is what leads to success for everybody. So maybe that's something the executive would like to take on and improve the visibility of mentorship, especially with the Pathway program.
Some clubs have mentor coordinator.
Christina, I believe I did mention that, and it should be in your PowerPoint under the first session that we responded to. Because I brought up 2 points there. One was mentor. It should be in your.
It is in there. It is. You're right. Yeah. Thanks, Shelley. So if there are no other comments, or I could maybe rephrase it. If you have any other comments or you've talked to somebody else in the club, I'm going to leave this document open till the weekend, and then I will summarize and send it to Leah. I appreciate your participation today. I think it is incredible that we can have 2 meetings a week. There are clubs that meet twice a month, and we're doing more than 4. It says a lot to the dedication of our members. That award last year where we were in the top 20, whatever it was, 27 in the world with awards. We've just cleaned up, and of the year, we have 2 people that have done well in our contests at the area level. This is an awesome club. And I think we've raised the bar with examples of so many wonderful events and people who've moved outside the club through leadership. Know those opportunities are available for you. You're sitting with a group that can get you to those spots if that's something that interests you. I was talking to Stephen earlier. I'm not a person involved in technical stuff in my outside Toastmasters world, and yet I've learned so much this year that has helped me already beyond Toastmasters. So I got to travel on my own ticket today in and out of breakout rooms. I learned something today, and it's only because I was part of Fluor. So if there are no other comments, I thank you. You will see a copy of how this document comes. And I know it was a challenge to cut it down to 1. We didn't even do it because we had so many things to talk about. But thank you for being part of such a great club. Stephen, thank you for hosting us. If there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, everyone.